All right, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday morning. My name's Kevin. This is a freestyle game dev AMA Q&A. We do this twice a week, Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings. Works like office hours. We hang out. If people have questions about game dev or working with Unreal, or there's something that we can stumble through together, that's what we're here for. In the absence of any questions, I am working on my own game, and I'll just stumble through that during the live stream. So as with previous times, I went back and looked through, and I didn't see any questions from any of the previous streams. So it looks like this morning we're going to be doing some more work on our game. As a reminder, why are we doing this? Combination of a bunch of things, but I get to do a lot of cool stuff at work every day because I work professionally in game dev. But there's so much about game dev that I don't get to do, and this is a chance for me to stumble through that. So we have zero time this morning because I have a hard out at 9. So let's just get right to it. And it looks like our chats are clear. So we'll just make sure we're sharing our screen because we've definitely messed that up before. All right. Now, if you recall, where we were stuck last time is we were trying to figure out how to figure out the best vector or the best place to run away for our enemies. And what we were doing was, the problem we were having was nowhere was it stored. The person who did the last hit or the vector, it was all getting passed in as part of target data, and all this stuff as part of the gameplay ability system. And we were trying to find a way to put that in. It turns out we were literally like moments away from finding it. I basically, like within 2 minutes of ending the stream, of course, I realized that all I needed to do was get the actors from the target data. For each of those actors, I was getting the AI controller and I was setting the damage instigator. Now, this is all part of weapon fire. The thing I don't like about this is we'd have to do this on a per ability thing, per ability that does damage. It would be great if we're going to have to find a better way. Basically, we're going to have to intercept the damage taken. Maybe we'll do it in code or whatever. But for the purpose of what we're testing, this is totally going to work. So now that we're setting our damage instigator, if you recall, we have our fight tree. So our enemy ability tree right now is just fight. There's nothing else going on. If we look at fight, it's our behavior tree, not ability tree. And what we were doing is we were hacking this find random location. If we get a blackboard value as an object and we make a key on this dude and we set this to the damage instigator. Damage instigator, I'm hoping I spelled that right. Damage instigator, yes. Sweet. Let's get the display name. And let's just print that as part of their change of position. So we'll print that just so we can make sure it's being set. So, and also let's open our combat level. Combat, just so we don't have to do double loads. Combat. Sure, we can save that. All right, so let's go. We've definitely been having fun computer problems this morning, so hopefully we don't get any crashes. One day we'll have our own loading screen. Okay, so far, every time they're moving, every 2 seconds, nothing's sprinting. If I shoot this dude, when he moves, look, be hero shooter mannequin. Be hero shooter mannequin. Now that's gonna stay set because I'm the last person who did damage, and nothing has changed that. Now the interesting thing is, if we melee this, whoa, okay, so meleeing a dude kills him. Double elimination. All right. So, anyways, if we shoot this dude, next time he moves, you can see the bee shooter mannequin. Same thing for this dude. We'll see double prints now. All right. So that is totally working. We have the information we need. So with that, we can just clean this back out, get rid of all this. That was just more of a confirmation for you all. So let's save this. Now, let's go back to our enemy. There's going to be a couple things here. So this is fight, and this is flee. Now flee is going to need to be a little bit different. We're definitely not going to want to find the random location. We're going to want to find cover. And the way we're going to want to find cover is not a random reachable point in radius. What we would like to do here, let's do this. If we get the blackboard, okay, and we get our instigator, too bad we didn't just copy all that stuff. Get our values object, and then we make a literal again, and this is going to be our damage instigator. Damage instigator. Okay, if this is valid, for now we'll just do this. Is valid. Then what we're going to do is we're going to calculate some vectors. And if it's not valid, we can just come through here. Okay, now there's a couple of things that I want to do to clean this up. If it finds a random location, it's going to keep... Okay, so all that should be the same. All right, great. Now, what we want to do is let's get a vector. So if that's valid, what we're going to do is we're going to get actor. Oh, it doesn't know it's an actor. So we'll cast it to actor, if we can spell it right. And then we'll get the actor location. All right, cool. Now, and we're gonna clean all this up in a second. If our cast fails, we want to do the same thing as if this had failed. So we'll just pop down here. We'll just use our current position, okay? If it succeeds, then what we want to do is we want to get our actor location. Okay, so let's variabilize some of this stuff. Do we want to put these in variables to clean this up? Yeah, I think we do. Let's do this. Promote to variable. This is gonna be my blackboard. Okay, and we're going to set that here, and then we'll just connect it in to here. Just clean a bunch of this stuff up. Okay. And then, is this not already? Okay, and then let's make this a variable. My location. I don't know if I like that name yet, but we'll sort it out in a second. Okay, and then we're going to connect my location to here. And we're also going to connect it to here. Okay, so we're already cleaner. We can move all of this down now. Pop this up here. Okay. I'm gonna cast that to an actor. Alright, this is the damage instigator location. And my location. So if we make a vector, now that we're clean, if we make a vector from basically me to where the damage came from, and you can just do that by subtracting, this is going to give me, you know, a long vector. It could be long, it's going to be a variable length vector depending on how far apart we are. Now, it might be worth normalizing it. I don't know. But let's see what we can do with this now. Let's think. All right, so what we're going to do is just for now, we'll get a random point in reachable radius. But what we want to do is we want to do normalized. I feel like we want to use the EQS system, but for now, let's normalize this vector. No, let's take this and normalize it. Normalize. Okay. And yeah, we'll go extreme here. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna normalize this, and then we're gonna take it, and we're going to multiply by a float. We're gonna convert this to a float, and we're gonna multiply by 200. Okay, and we're going to add it to our current position. Okay. This is nuts. And then we are going to set this. We need a copy of these three. All right. And what's going to happen is, and I'll recap exactly what's going on here in a second. Okay, we're going to set that. The line looks straight to me. That'll work. Okay. All nice and clean. All right, so then we need to finish. All right, so what the heck is this doing? Because this is just a show you type this thing is working. So what's going to happen is, if our damage instigator is valid, we're going to cast it to an actor. We're going to get that actor location. Then we're going to basically get a vector from the damage instigator to the actual damage person, which is going to be basically like drawing a line. And then we're going to take that line, normalize it, so it's 1 unit long. And then we're going to multiply by 200. So now it's 200 units long. And then we're going to add that to the character's current location, and we're going to set that as our move goal. So literally the character should run in a straight line away from the damage person, away from the person who did the damage by 200 units. Now, there's a lot of problems with this. This is not going to work ultimately. We're going to have to be a lot smart. I just want to show you this working, because what happens if 200 units is off the map, for example? Also, it'd be great if it wasn't just a straight line. Again, we're just going to show the use of this vector, and there's a lot of different things I actually want to do with find cover. So this is find cover. So let's go into our fight. No. How do we want to do this? Actually, this will work. All right, and here's why this is going to work. Rather than finding a random nav location, what we're going to do is we're going to flee. Oh no, not flee, find cover. Find cover. Now, why is this going to work if we disconnect this? This is going to work at first because what's going to happen is find cover only does all of this if the damage instigator is valid. When we start off, the damage instigator is not valid. And so what's going to happen is it's going to come through not valid. It's going to find a random location. So when we start, it should start exactly the same as it started before. They're all going to run around and they're all just going to find random locations. Okay? Which is what they're doing. Now, what I want to do, and this is going to show you where the problem. If I come up here, theoretically, if I shoot this dude, he should only run away 200 units. Now the trick is, he's always going to run 200 units away. Wait a second. Maybe not. Is our damage instigator getting reset? Interesting. What character is that? Let's take a look at his tree. Okay, we're definitely in fight. And we're definitely in find cover. And in find cover. Okay, so the damage instigator is not valid, so it's using its own thing because it can't find a valid position. That's interesting. BP1 doing the same thing. BP3 also doing that, and BP2. Which BP is that? The move to location's getting updated. So he just moved. Hold on. And there's some wild music that plays when we do this. GA fire weapon, GA weapon fire. I want to... That's the damage instigator. I need to know what the name of our character is. I wonder if that's something I can see in a debug mode. Oh. Okay, here we go. We can see. How do I toggle this? Control tilde, this HUD, control tab. Debug messages. Use numpad to toggle categories. And control tilde is the hub. Control tab is debug messages. How do I switch which character it's looking at? There we go. So this is BP controller 0. Alright, so I just hit her. Okay, so theoretically, she should be calculating her run vector based on where I am. I don't know why that dude's stuck. Alright, so if we look at our find cover task for 0, should be this one. Okay. It is calculating a vector based on their location and the actor location that is, and then it's setting the move goal. So it's totally in there. Okay, new plan. Ooh, access none. Get value as object. GA weapon fire. Where was that? Oh, we should do this. We can put a little bit of a, nope. Put a little bit of a safety buffer in here. Is valid. So we don't get that error. If it's valid, then we'll do this. Okay, cool. So let's go back to here. And what I want to do is when we're setting this move goal location, I want to draw a debug sphere for it. Draw a debug sphere so we can kind of see these showing up on the map. Okay, in the center of that sphere, hey, don't move that. That was all nicely arranged. A radius of 50. Colors, nice bright duration of 1. Cool. So we should see none of those. And then once we shoot her, that's where she went to. Oh. Interesting. So what's happening? Okay, I know what's happening. What's happening is exactly what I said would be a problem, is if the position is off the map, the character can't get to it, they're not going to nav there. So let's reduce this size to 50, and we should see at least a few of them. We'll wait till they run towards us. Okay. Doesn't look like 50, does it? It looks like it's still doing much more than 50. What unit is this in? 20. Compile, save, save. Compile and save, and play. Alright, she's run towards me. There we go, there's one. Why is she stuck there? That's C2, Manny. Find cover. 2. She's definitely coming in here. Getting the actor location. And what? Something's not updating. My location is the owner actor. It should be adding 50. Okay, alright, let's do it this way. We're getting the damage instigator as an actor. Taking my location, we're adding to this. Rather than drawing a debug sphere, let's draw a debug arrow. And the reason we'll draw a sphere too. The start of the arrow should be my location. And the end of the arrow should be my location plus this. And then the arrow size, let's do a size of 10. No, let's do 5. 5. And make the line color a nice bright blue. And then the duration of 1 and a thickness of 2. We're gonna make the duration of 2 actually. Okay, so this should draw an arrow for us, and the arrow should be drawn from where I am. Except I don't see an arrow. Is it on the floor? Is it in the floor that I just can't see it? Huh. Who knew? I'm looking around, so what I've done here is I've ejected from the character. Because I don't see my arrow. Oh, it's tiny. It's tiny. There's our arrow. That's wild. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, so let's change this to 50. Okay. Move to goal. Alright, and where is move to? What's our acceptable radius? 5. Man, it's not that far off. Could be that our collision sphere, let's see here. So that should be 100 units. What? Hold on a second. That's 100 units? Also, it has a downward vector to it. That's kind of a problem. Okay, so get actor location, get my location. I want to take out all of the It's interesting because I would expect their height to be the same as my height. Hold on a second. My location is not getting updated. Owner actor, my location. Why would the my location not get updated? Okay, so red should be our location. Wait a minute. How is that? Look at this. So this doesn't make any sense. The owner's location is nowhere. Look at this. It's always here. That's why they're not going anywhere. Owner actor. What kind of actor is this? Find cover. What is this thing? Oh, it's an age. Okay, that's not actually the pawn location. That's the AI control, and the AI controller is sitting at the origin. Okay, that explains that. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to controlled. What is find cover? Cast to AI. Get controlled. Get controlled pawn. That's interesting. I feel like I've seen a bunch of stuff where what's passed in, we'll have to go back and look at this, but I feel like I remember getting, there was a controller and the controlled pawn came in as part of the event receive executes. Pawn. And it could be because the way Lyra's set up is it doesn't have that information. Gets the owning actor of the movement base code on this pawn is standing. Nope. Okay, we'll do it like this. Alright, so if this is successful, let's promote this to variable. Control on. So if this is successful, we'll do this. I'm not gonna need this anymore. I'm gonna need this. This is going to come in here. Okay. And then let's clean up a lot of this, because this is messy. Well, that's the same thing. So we don't need this. We can go here. We don't need this. We can go here. And then this, actually this get actor location is going to go away because we're going to get it from here. Okay, so now when we play, yeah, that's better. Okay, that also explains why we were having problems with the vectors not being the same, because I would expect like pawns to have the same kind of capsule location so our vectors wouldn't be so off. Now what should happen is we should be back on track, where when these dudes run at us, if I shoot this dude, they're gonna move back and then move back and move back. Alright, now let's make this a little bigger so it's not so tiny. So let's go with 200 units. And we should be right back to where I said we were going to be originally when I thought I understood what was happening. So 200 units back. 200 units back. Interestingly enough, they're always going to move 200 units back from wherever I am. So I can use this to kite this dude around the map. So let's see what happens when we get to a point where they can't move back any further. They just stop. Okay? Alright, this is now working as expected, which is cool. So we can get rid of a bunch of these draw debug stuff. This is going to set our move goal. Now, I think what we actually want to do is try to find I'd love it. I think I would love it ultimately if when a character finds cover, they can actually not only just find a location that's further away from me, but also find a location that is maybe behind an object or something like that if there happens to be one in the scene. So I'm wondering if we can tie this into an EQS query or not. But one of the things that I think is worth doing is before we go find cover, I only think we should do this if our health is at a certain point. So I think this is a good transition. We have about 20 minutes left before I have to bail. Let's see if we can figure out where the health is on our characters. So we have not looked for this yet. And okay. So this is character that has a health component. That's interesting. This is a Lyra character, has a health component. Ooh. Well, that's cool. So, just for kicks, can we cast this to a Lyra character? And then from that, can we get the health? Get health component. Ooh. Returns the current health in a range of 0 to 1. Oh, look at that. Get health normalized. This is cool. Okay. So, for fun, let's print that. We're just gonna print that. We're just testing in here. So let's print string. And we're going to print our health. And then we'll come back down in here. So everybody is going to print their health as they're running around. Yep. Okay. 0.8. Oh, this is great. 0.4. We love it. This is great. This is what we're gonna use. Okay. This makes this great. Okay, so what we want to do is let's do this. So nice. Okay. In our tree, all right, we have fight, and we also have flee. Nope. It's not called flee. It is called flee. Run behavior. Aha. I forgot. You can't just type it in, you gotta find it. Run behavior. And the name is flee, you fools. Okay. So, however, we're not just going to do fight and flee, fight and flee, fight and flee. Yeah. What we want to do is we want to do that based on conditions. So, let's make a decorator. Add a decorator. Oh, interesting. Cone checks. Compare BB entries. Let's see if we can, in all of our stuff, decorators. Allowed to fire. Let's see if this is what I'm expecting it to be. Behavior tree decorator. Interesting. Where is this stored? We're keeping this under the behavior tree for the bots. So let's, in ours, copy this to Lord Wars AI. We'll copy this here, copy here, and we're going to rename this to healthy. 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 So this is a behavior tree decorator healthy. Okay. And what we're going to do in here is owner actor. We're going to cast to the Lyra character. Ooh. Which may not work because the owner actor might actually be the AI controller and we may have to get the pawn from that. So let's just see. Okay. And what we're going to do is if that's successful, we are going to get the health just like we did before. And basically, simply put, if it's greater than 50%, let's say we want to do 30. Let's just do half for now. If it's greater than half, then we're going to return that. Okay? So we're going to return whether or not it's greater than half. And if that fails, we're going to return false. Okay, so that's all this condition is going to do. And we want to return false for this one. I'm going to drop this down here just for... Now, the one thing I think we may have to do is we may have to cast this thing. If this thing is... Actually, we can just print it rather than casting it. Get display name. We'll just print string. Print the string. Just temporarily, just so I can see it. And then in our behavior tree, where'd our behavior tree go? Okay, so we're gonna add a decorator here. Healthy. I also don't like the fact that it's called a BT decorator healthy. I want to change that. And interestingly enough, this thing must have a class defaults. How's it getting that description? See this description here? Oh, there isn't one. Flee. Test weapon disabled cheat. Why is it called that? Class defaults. Aha. Check character health. Cool. Now when we go back, we're checking our character health. Really do not like that name. And we're only, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the same thing here. If it's healthy, we're going to do that. And if it's not healthy, we're going to flee. So at first, dude should fight. And we know that fight comes in and does find random location. It's not going to find cover at all. Then we're gonna do move to and wait. So let's save that. And then if we flee, we are going to find cover instead. Okay. And we'll move to and do all those kinds of things. I also want to change what the focus is going to be. It's going to be our move goal. Let's see. So that way they look at where they're running to. All right. So when we start this off, it should be... Okay, yeah, that's not going to work. As you saw, that giant flood of prints was our hardware controller. So we're going to take this and we're going to cast this to HWC AI controller. And then with that, we're going to get the controlled pawn. And then with that, we'll cast that to a Lyra character. And then that should give us what we need. We don't need this print. And then as a Lyra character, if this fails, we'll come here as well. I do have some questions for future us about when would this not be one of our AI controllers. So that's just a question for future us. But in the meantime, theoretically, all right, that's probably 0.8. That is probably 0.6 something. What is this character doing? This is hardware BP0. Okay. Let's look at our behavior tree first for BP0. It's stuck in fight. Interesting. It's definitely failing there, but it's not coming back down. Hold on. Observer board self. Let's try that. Observer board self. This is 2. It's definitely failing in there. That's interesting. Okay, let's check our healthy. Wait a minute. .28. So this should be returning false. It is returning false. So if that's returning false, this should be failing out. Hold up. A sequence runs left to right and will stop executing when one of the children fails. That's not what we want. I think we want a selector here. Selector. A selector runs for children left to right and will stop execution when one of the children succeeds. If a selector child succeeds, the selector. If all the children fail, the selector fails. Okay, I think this will do it. It basically was getting stuck. Come on, this way. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Wait, did we get a third one? Am I just that bad of a shot? Okay, it's working. They're fleeing. Woohoo! Okay, it's not very dramatic. They're not going very far. We could probably increase the distance. I think there's some arguments to be made about whether or not they should face their thing, but access none. Set values object. Interesting. We'll have to check that. We'll have to check that bug later. Okay. Point is though, flee is working, which is cool. So we just need to come back to our find cover, and rather than going a measly 200 units, if we do 4, we'll get something a little bit more. A little bit more dramatic. So she's always gonna run away from me now. And it's always going to be, right now, because of what we've done, this is always going to be some vector away from us. And there's a couple things about this though that we don't like. I mean, there's some arguments to be made where, right, she can't go any further because there's not a spot. Okay, but this is totally working, which is great. So there's some arguments to be made about whether or not that should actually set our focus. This is in fight and this is in flee. So I'm wondering if we don't set our flee. So if we just simply change our focus here, what's going to happen is the focus is going to change, and she or he, depending on which one spawns, when she flees. Interesting, she did not. I thought she would face me. This is find cover. Save. Save. Compile. Save. Set the focus as a target enemy. Set the focus as a target enemy. Set focus is false. Set focus is true. Oh, interesting. Okay, let's do this. So actually it turns out that our focus was not being set to our move target. Our focus was being set to false. So by default, it was just running to where it was. I think, okay, that's interesting then. So let's do this. So what should happen here now is, now when we get them into flee, they should run away but face me as they do it. Yeah, so she's gonna face me the whole way. Okay, that's cool. Get Blackboard return value. Get Blackboard return value. Get the AI controller. That's interesting. How the AI controller, when that's airing out, it's not getting a valid Blackboard? Or the AI controller is not valid? Okay, put in a second check. All right, now, what I wanted to try to do was, rather than setting the focus here, can I set focus here? ETS set focus. Let's do this. Let's set focus. I don't know if this is gonna work. Target enemy. And then here, let's set this as our move goal. So we're gonna set our focus as our move goal. And then what happens is when they get to wait, we're gonna set our focus as target enemy. What I'm curious here is, when we get them into the flee state by doing this, she runs away. But in the wait phase, we're not actually setting our focus. Oh, but the set focus is false. Genius. Okay, we wanna Nope, that's not what we want. Okay, so now let's try this. We got 4 minutes. There we go, run away. Ah, look at that. That's cool. So she'll run, but she can't get there. So what happens is when she can't get to her location, this is what happens when you play with Wacom tablets. Oh, her target changed. She doesn't seem to have a target, actually. Oh, there, she just picked one up. Interesting. So something's going on with the way that she's choosing her targets. So she's always gonna run from me. But it's like she's not getting a target anymore. And I wonder if it's because she's facing away. They're both trying to get to this point. And I can't get... Okay, I can get them off this wall. Okay. So basically they're running away, but then they're setting their target. All right, so that, there's a lot of cool things that are working in here. There's a lot of things that, you know, we're definitely not there yet. I am actually going to, I think we're gonna wrap this up here. That was a much more successful morning than our last stream, which is cool. So basically, based on character's health, we're fleeing or fighting, which is cool. Very super basic stuff right now. We're probably gonna spend some time reopening our previous project and getting back to kind of where we were there. I think one of the things that I'd like to do with the find cover is see if we can't make it a little bit smarter. Probably use a, what I'd love to do is I'd love to do an EQS query, I'm guessing, where we can actually find objects in the scene to hide behind. I think that would be like the ultimate goal. Run away or run to an object that we can hide behind. And then from that position, establish that we have cover and we can just fight from there. I also want to reintroduce the idea of Berserker mode and all those kinds of things. So we have a ton of work to recreate just to even get back to parity with where we were. And then I think once we get a couple of those basics working, then I think we'll get back into our abilities and start digging into the Lyra item system and how that's kind of being handled. So for anybody who's here, maybe just quietly listening to the wings, thanks for hopping in and listening. If you have questions about this or about other stuff with UE4 and game dev or Lyra, whatever that we can stumble through together, don't hesitate to throw those in the comments. We'll try to knock those out Sunday evening. Once again, we do this twice a week, Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings. I hope you all have an awesome, awesome week. Sweet.